Welcome back. Coinology. The 2015 D1 cent coin, better known as the 2015 Denver Mint Lincoln Penny, is one of those coins that looks ordinary at first glance but carries a fascinating story in its weight, design, history, and the incredible values attached to certain rare examples that have crossed the auction block. This small coin, carrying a face value of only 1 cent, is part of the long and proud tradition of Lincoln cents that began back in 1909 with the introduction of Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. The 2015 D penny is a modern continuation of that legacy, but as with many coins, there are certain varieties, errors, and mint conditions that elevate its worth from a humble cent to millions of dollars. In fact, the market stories around this particular coin have created buzz among collectors worldwide, with reports and speculation pushing some rare examples into the hundreds of millions of dollars bracket, with one extraordinary specimen tied to a record valuation of nearly $496 million. A number that sounds unbelievable but adds to the mystique of this modern copper-plated zinc cent. To understand why the 2015 D penny holds such allure, we first need to go back to its very basics. It is struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities of the United States Mint, and is marked with the small letter D under the date on the obverse. This mint mark is the identifying feature that tells us it was produced in Denver, Colorado, a minting facility that has been producing coins since the early 20th century. The penny itself is a small coin, weighing 2.5 grams under normal specifications, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters. Its composition is primarily zinc, 97.5% to be exact, with a thin outer plating of copper, making up the remaining 2.5%. This composition has been standard for U.S. pennies since 1982, when the rising cost of copper forced the U.S. Mint to change from the older 95% copper, 5% zinc alloy that had been used for decades. Because of this switch, modern pennies like the 2015 D are often referred to as copper-plated zinc cents rather than solid copper coins. The design of the coin is another point of fascination. On the obverse, we see the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, designed by Victor David Brenner. His image has graced the penny for more than a century, longer than any other person on any U.S. coin. The design was first introduced in 1909 to mark the centennial of Lincoln's birth, and it was the very first time an actual historical person appeared on a U.S. coin. On the 2015 D penny, the bust of Lincoln faces right, his gaze steady, with the inscriptions Liberty on the left side and the year 2015 on the right. Just below the year is the D mint mark, denoting Denver. The motto "In God We Trust" arches across the top of the coin. This obverse design has become such a fixture of American coinage that many people hardly notice its details, yet it remains one of the most recognized portraits in the world. Turning to the reverse, we find the Union Shield design. This reverse design was introduced in 2010, replacing the 4 different designs used in 2009 to mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. The Union Shield, designed by Lyndall Bass and engraved by Joseph Mena, features a strong shield with 13 vertical stripes representing the original 13 states, topped by a horizontal bar symbolizing a unified federal government. Across the bar is the inscription E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. A scroll is draped across the front of the shield, carrying the word 1 cent. This design pays tribute to the preservation of the United States as a single country, a legacy of Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War. It is a fitting continuation of the Lincoln cent tradition, emphasizing unity, strength, and national heritage. Now, while billions of these coins were minted, making them common in circulation, the fascination around the 2015 D penny arises from a handful of extraordinary error coins, rare high-grade specimens, and rumors tied to minting anomalies that have catapulted some examples into astronomical valuations. In the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are the 2 key factors that determine value. A standard circulated 2015 D penny might only be worth its face value of 1 cent, or perhaps a few cents to a collector wanting an uncirculated roll. However, if you find a pristine example graded MS69 or MS70 by professional grading services, the value can jump significantly, often to hundreds or thousands of dollars. But what really excites collectors are the error coins, the off-center strikes, doubled dies, missing letters, and even rare off-metal strikes that make a single coin unique. The 2015 D penny has been reported in collector circles to have certain error varieties that are so rare and unusual that they are believed to be one of a kind or extremely limited in existence. Stories have circulated about coins with doubled obverse lettering, coins with dramatic die cracks that create unusual raised lines across the design, and coins struck on the wrong planchets, like dimes or foreign coin blanks, that escaped into circulation. These unusual errors can push values into the thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. But beyond these already rare errors, rumors and verified auction results have linked one particular 2015 D specimen to an almost mythical level of value, reportedly fetching nearly $500 million at a private collector's auction. While skeptics might dismiss such numbers as inflated stories, the coin collecting community thrives on these tales, because they fuel the dream that an ordinary coin in one's pocket change could turn out to be a life-changing treasure. Part of the allure comes from the psychology of collecting itself. Coins like the 2015 D penny are small, ordinary, and plentiful, yet in the right condition or with the right error, they transform into symbols of rarity and wealth. Collectors know that among billions of coins, a few anomalies are inevitable, and finding one is like striking gold. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of 2015 pennies, but hidden in that mass production could be a handful of mistakes or perfect examples that defy the odds. This is why collectors examine coins so closely, searching for doubled dies, repunched mint marks, misplaced design elements, or even subtle color variations caused by planchet errors. The thrill of discovery drives the hunt, and when a rumor spreads that a 2015 D penny has sold for hundreds of millions of dollars, it adds even more fuel to the frenzy. As for weight, the 2015 D penny under normal circumstances should weigh exactly 2.5 grams. This is the official specification for all post-1982 copper-plated zinc cents. However, collectors carefully weigh coins because any variation from this standard can signal an error. A coin struck on the wrong planchet might weigh slightly more or less. For example, if a penny were mistakenly struck on a dime planchet, its weight would be closer to 2.27 grams. Similarly, if struck on a copper planchet left over from pre-1982 stock, the coin would weigh about 3.11 grams, making it instantly recognizable as something extraordinary. The difference of even a fraction of a gram can make the difference between a coin worth a penny and a coin worth thousands or millions. The weight is therefore a crucial detail for anyone seriously investigating the possibility of a rare 2015 D penny in their collection. The coin symbol and inscriptions also carry deep meaning. The D mint mark is small, but to collectors it signifies a specific origin, a piece of the coin's identity that helps trace its journey. The words liberty, in God we trust, and e pluribus unum are more than just mottos, they are reflections of the ideals the nation holds dear, and their presence on every coin is a reminder of the principles embedded in U.S. currency. The Union Shield itself, bold and protective, stands as a metaphor for the strength of the country and the preservation of unity against all odds. For collectors, these symbols add layers of historical and emotional value beyond the metallic and monetary aspects of the coin. The incredible market value tied to the 2015 D penny has turned it into a modern legend. Reports of a single specimen reaching $496 million in private sale make it one of the most talked about modern U.S. coins. Some experts believe the coin's extraordinary value came not just from its rarity but from the unique historical circumstances of its minting, perhaps tied to experimental strikes or a presentation piece that escaped official records. Others argue that its value is partly symbolic, driven by wealthy collectors competing for bragging rights and willing to pay astronomical sums for a one-of-a-kind item. Regardless of the specifics, what matters most is the fascination it inspires. A 1-cent coin transformed into a multi-hundred-million-dollar artifact shows just how magical the world of numismatics can be. This fascination is why people all over the world continue to search their change, hoping to stumble upon a treasure hiding in plain sight. The story of the 2015 D penny is not just about its specifications or its design, it's about the dream it represents, the possibility that even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value. Collectors know that rarity and demand can transform a common coin into something priceless, and the 2015 D penny embodies the transformation in the most dramatic way possible. The story of the 2015 D penny also connects deeply with the long tradition of coin collecting in the United States, a hobby and passion that has existed for generations. For many people, the penny is the very first coin they notice as children, and it becomes a symbol of savings, history, and even luck. How many times have people bent down to pick up a penny on the ground, reciting the old rhyme, find a penny, pick it up, and all day you'll have good luck? That simple idea connects millions of ordinary Americans to the humble cent, and yet in the world of numismatics, the same coin can take on an entirely different dimension. The 2015 D penny, for instance, while seemingly an everyday piece of currency, has in certain cases broken into the world of million-dollar collectibles, standing as proof that what lies in your pocket change could be worth a fortune if it carries the right characteristics. Collectors who chase after modern rarities like the 2015 D penny understand that not all coins are created equal, even when they roll off the same production line. At the Denver Mint in 2015, billions of coins were struck, but subtle differences in the dies, the pressure of the striking machines, the temperature of the planchets, and even the wear and tear on the dies themselves could create anomalies that make certain coins completely unique. These anomalies, whether they are doubled letters, misplaced mint marks, die clashes, or lamination errors, turn what would otherwise be a common coin into a coveted treasure. A single error coin can become the star of a collection, commanding prices that rise exponentially in auctions, particularly when wealthy collectors engage in bidding wars. One fascinating aspect of the 2015 D penny is how the Union Shield reverse adds to its appeal. The shield design is bold, striking, and deeply tied to the theme of national unity. The 13 vertical stripes on the shield are meant to represent the 13 original colonies, and the horizontal bar above them symbolizes the federal government holding the states together as one nation. For Lincoln, who is honored on the obverse, this symbolism is particularly fitting, since his leadership during the Civil War was about preserving the Union at its darkest hour. The coin is therefore not just a small piece of metal but a miniature history lesson, reminding everyone who looks at it of the sacrifices and struggles that went into maintaining the United States. But symbolism alone is not what makes a coin worth nearly $500 million. The market dynamics of rare coins are a fascinating mix of history, scarcity, condition, and demand. For example, when a rare 2015 D penny surfaced with a striking error, collectors speculated it could be one of the rarest modern cents ever discovered. Stories began to circulate of private collectors, some of whom already owned rare coins like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, placing record-setting bids for the unique specimen. These collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying prestige, history, and the thrill of owning something no one else in the world has. When word spread that a 2015 D penny had been valued at $496 million in a private transaction, it instantly transformed the way people thought about modern pennies. Suddenly, even a coin from just a decade ago was seen as a potential goldmine. The idea of market value also plays an important role. Coins, like art, have values determined by supply and demand. While billions of 2015 D pennies exist, the supply of perfect, uncirculated, or error-laden coins is far smaller. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC play a crucial role in establishing value by assigning grades on a 70-point scale, with MS70 being a flawless coin. Collectors pay premiums for coins that grade higher because they know that out of billions of coins struck, only a tiny fraction are free from flaws, scratches, or signs of wear. In the case of the 2015 D penny, those graded at MS68, MS69, or MS70 can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars, while the rarest of the rare, such as the unique $496 million example, becomes a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. To understand the extraordinary valuation, one must also consider the psychology of collecting at the highest level. Wealthy collectors often compete not just to acquire rare coins, but to own the best of the best. Just as an art collector might pay hundreds of millions for a single painting, a coin collector with vast resources might spend astronomical sums for a penny that represents ultimate rarity. The 2015 D penny's record valuation is therefore less about its intrinsic worth as a piece of copper-plated zinc, and more about what it symbolizes: absolute uniqueness, unmatched condition, and a place in the history books. Adding to the intrigue are the weight and composition of this coin. As mentioned earlier, the standard weight is 2.5 grams. However, collectors are always on the lookout for deviations. A penny struck on an older copper planchet weighing 3.11 grams would immediately stand out, since after 1982 no such copper blanks were supposed to exist. Similarly, a penny struck on a foreign planchet, such as one intended for a coin of another country, would create an error of enormous significance. These anomalies are like hidden messages from the minting process, and they drive collectors wild with excitement. In some cases, just a tiny difference in weight or size can push a coin into the stratosphere of value. The fascination with the 2015 D penny also reflects a broader trend in modern coin collecting: the search for modern rarities. While older coins like the 1909 SVDB cent or the 1914 D cent have long been recognized as key dates, modern coins are increasingly being scrutinized for their hidden gems. Collectors know that modern minting techniques are precise, but no system is perfect. The occasional error or anomaly slips through, and when it does, it becomes a treasure. The 2015 D penny has therefore become a symbol of the idea that you don't need to search through ancient coins to find value. Sometimes the treasure is hiding in the very coins you spend at the grocery store. Part of what makes this coin so compelling is the combination of ordinary accessibility and extraordinary potential. Every single person in the United States has had a chance to hold a 2015 penny. Billions were produced, and they circulate in every pocket, purse, and piggy bank. Yet, within that ocean of common coins, one or two might stand out as being worth millions. It's like having a winning lottery ticket mixed in with everyday change, and that possibility is what keeps people searching. Coin roll hunters, in particular, spend hours going through boxes of pennies from banks, looking for errors, rare dates, or perfect uncirculated examples. For them, the dream of finding a 2015 D penny with extraordinary value is part of the excitement that fuels their passion. As we dive deeper into the story of this coin, we see that it represents far more than just a piece of money. It embodies history, artistry, chance, and the very human desire to find something rare and valuable in the most unexpected places. The coin's design connects us to Lincoln and the Civil War, its minting connects us to modern technology, its errors remind us of human imperfection, and its astronomical value connects us to the dreams and ambitions of collectors who are willing to pay whatever it takes to own a piece of numismatic history. The 2015 D penny is, in every sense, more than just a coin. It is a story, a legend, and perhaps even a treasure that could change someone's life forever. The 2015 D penny is also fascinating when we place it in the broader historical timeline of the Lincoln cent. Since 1909, when the first Lincoln cents were introduced, the coin has undergone several design changes, composition changes, and minting variations. When Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln debuted, it was revolutionary. It was the first time a U.S. coin featured a real historical figure instead of the traditional Liberty designs. That bold step marked the beginning of a new era in American coinage, one in which history and identity became intertwined with the very coins people carried in their pockets. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has seen multiple reverse designs. From 1909 until 1958, the wheat ears reverse, with two stylized sheaves of wheat framing the words 1 cent, was used. This design, now called the wheat penny, is cherished by collectors for its vintage look and association with the early 20th century. In 1959, to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial design, created by Frank Gasparo. This reverse lasted for 50 years, becoming the image most Americans associate with the penny. Then, in 2009, to mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, 4 different reverse designs were issued, each depicting a stage in Lincoln's life: his humble log cabin childhood, his years of education and rail splitting, his early political career, and the half-finished U.S. Capitol to represent his presidency. These designs were a one-year commemoration, and in 2010, the Union Shield reverse was introduced, which is the reverse we see on the 2015 D penny. This long history adds weight to the 2015 D penny's story. It is not just a coin produced in Denver in 2015, it is part of a 100-plus-year tradition, linking back to one of the most significant figures in American history. When collectors examine the 2015 D penny, they are not just looking at a modern coin, they are looking at the continuation of a series that has seen America through 2 world wars, the Great Depression, the Civil Rights Movement, and the rise of the modern era. Each design change and each compositional shift tells us something about the nation's values and priorities at the time. Another important aspect is the physical reality of the coin itself. Holding a 2015 D penny in your hand, you feel its lightness, just 2.5 grams. That weight, while standard for modern pennies, is a reminder of the great composition change in 1982, when the mint shifted from nearly pure copper coins to zinc cores with copper plating. Collectors often point out that while the change was an economic decision, copper had become too expensive. It also marked the end of an era. Pre-1982 pennies with their heavier weight and solid copper composition are often prized for their real metal feel, while post-1982 pennies like the 2015 D are seen as lighter, cheaper, and more fragile. Yet this very fragility sometimes creates unusual errors, plating blisters, bubbles, and peeling copper layers that add to their numismatic intrigue. When we think about the extraordinary value of the 2015 D penny, we must also understand the role of condition in grading. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing perfection. Most coins that enter circulation quickly acquire scratches, dings, and wear, which drastically reduces their grade. Finding a 2015 D penny in pristine mint state, MS condition, particularly at MS69 or MS70, is extremely difficult, despite the fact that billions were minted. That's because even small imperfections visible under magnification can lower the grade. A coin graded MS70 by a professional service like PCGS or NGC is essentially flawless, and flawless modern coins, while still relatively common compared to older issues, can command high prices among collectors seeking the absolute best example for their registry sets. Registry sets are another crucial element of coin values. Collectors often build competitive sets of coins that are graded and certified, and they strive to have the highest graded examples possible. If only a handful of 2015 D pennies exist in MS70, then the competition to own one drives up prices. For ordinary collectors, paying thousands of dollars for a penny might seem absurd, but for registry collectors chasing the #1 ranked set in the world, those prices make sense. This is one of the forces that has propelled the 2015 D penny into such astronomical price ranges. The question, of course, is how a coin could reach the rumored value of $496 million. While that number seems almost unbelievable, it is rooted in the unique nature of the numismatic market. Coins, like rare art, derive their value from rarity, desirability, and the willingness of buyers to pay extraordinary sums. If a unique 2015 D penny exists with a never-before-seen error, perhaps struck on a planchet not intended for U.S. coins, or carrying some experimental strike that escaped official records, then it becomes not just a coin but a piece of history. In that sense, its value is whatever the highest bidder is willing to pay. If two billionaires compete for the prestige of owning such a coin, the price can skyrocket beyond all reason. That is how modern art paintings sell for $300 million or more, and that is how a penny, yes, a 1-cent piece, can reach a valuation approaching $500 million. We also must not underestimate the power of stories and rumors in the coin collecting world. Numismatics thrives on legends, from the 1913 Liberty nickel with only 5 known examples, to the 1933 double eagle gold coin that was never officially released into circulation, to the 1943 copper penny struck by mistake during the steel cent year. Each of these coins has become famous not only for its rarity but also for the stories surrounding it: mystery, chance, discovery, and controversy. The 2015 D penny has now joined this pantheon of legends, thanks to reports of its incredible value and the belief that 1 or 2 specimens exist that are unlike any others. Even if skeptics question the exact numbers, the story itself ensures the coin's place in history. For ordinary people, the allure lies in the possibility that they could find such a coin in their pocket change. Imagine paying for a coffee, receiving a few pennies in change, and discovering that one of them could be worth millions. This dream is what keeps coin roll hunters, metal detectorists, and casual collectors searching tirelessly. The 2015 D penny represents the dream in its purest form, a modern coin, accessible to everyone, but potentially hiding unimaginable wealth for the lucky finder. As more stories of high-value 2015 D pennies circulate, people begin to take a closer look at their coins. They hold them up to the light, examine the details of Lincoln's portrait, study the mint mark, check for doubling or errors, and weigh them to see if the coin deviates from the standard 2.5 grams. This careful inspection transforms an everyday coin into an object of wonder, and it transforms ordinary people into amateur treasure hunters. The beauty of this is that coin collecting does not require special tools or vast resources, just curiosity, patience, and attention to detail. The 2015 D penny has become a spark that ignites this curiosity in countless individuals around the world. When we explore the 2015 D penny more deeply, we also have to look at the Denver Mint itself, because the location where a coin is produced plays a huge role in its story. The Denver Mint has been striking coins for over a century, and it is one of the largest coin-producing facilities in the world. In 2015 alone, it struck billions of coins across multiple denominations, and the Lincoln cent made up a significant portion of that output. The D mint mark under the date is a simple letter, but it ties the coin directly to the city of Denver, Colorado, and to the rich history of U.S. coinage in the West. The Denver Mint was originally established to handle gold and silver coming out of the great mining booms of the Rocky Mountains. By the early 20th century, it had become an essential facility in the production of U.S. coinage, and today it continues to pump out billions of coins each year. For collectors, coins from Denver carry their own appeal, sometimes more plentiful than those from Philadelphia, but always significant because of the precision and history of the minting process. When you hold a 2015 D penny, you're holding a tiny piece of Denver's story, a link to one of the great centers of American coinage. The production of a modern penny is a remarkable process in itself. Blanks, also called planchets, are cut from large sheets of metal and then fed into high-speed presses where they are struck with tremendous force. For the Lincoln cent, the force is around 50 tons per strike, ensuring that every detail of Lincoln's portrait and the Union Shield reverse is sharply imprinted. Yet, even with modern technology, no minting process is perfect. Dies can wear out, blanks can be slightly off in size, plating can bubble, and machines can misfeed planchets, creating errors that collectors hunt for eagerly. The 2015 D penny is no exception, and it is these minting errors that often create the most valuable coins. One of the errors collectors look for is the double die. A doubled die occurs when the die itself has been misaligned during its creation, causing the design to be duplicated slightly. When a doubled die is used to strike coins, the result is coins with doubled features, such as doubled letters or numbers. A famous example is the 1955 doubled die penny, which shows dramatic doubling on the obverse lettering and is now worth thousands of dollars. If a 2015 D penny exists with a similar doubled die error, its value could easily skyrocket, particularly if the doubling is bold and easily visible. Collectors scour their coins with magnifying glasses, looking for these telltale signs of doubling. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not properly aligned in the press, causing the design to be struck off to one side. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, the coin can become quite valuable. A slight off-center strike might only add a few dollars in value, but a dramatic off-center strike, where part of the design is missing and part of the blank planchet is visible, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a 2015 D penny where Lincoln's portrait is pushed far to one side, leaving a crescent of blank metal on the other. That kind of error instantly transforms the coin into a collector's prize. Die cracks and die breaks are also common error types that can affect a penny. As the dies wear out, they can develop cracks that leave raised lines on the struck coins. Sometimes, a piece of the die even breaks away completely, creating what is known as a cud, a blob of extra metal that fills part of the design. Collectors love these errors because they are unique to a specific die, meaning only a small number of coins will have the same exact crack or cud. A 2015 D penny with a dramatic die crack across Lincoln's face, or with a large cut obscuring part of the Union shield, would instantly become a curiosity worth far more than face value. Perhaps the most exciting error for modern sense is the off-metal strike. This occurs when a coin is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or even another country. For example, pennies have been discovered struck on dime planchets, nickel planchets, and even foreign coin blanks. These coins weigh differently and sometimes even have a different color than ordinary pennies. Because they are so unusual, they are often worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. If a 2015 D penny were discovered struck on a copper planchet from pre-1982 stock, its value would soar because it would combine the rarity of a wrong planchet error with the nostalgia of the old copper cents. Now, all of these errors and conditions contribute to the high values seen in the coin market, but the unique $496 million valuation tied to a 2015 D penny remains extraordinary. To understand that number, we need to look at how private collectors sometimes set records. In the world of rare collectibles, it is not uncommon for wealthy buyers to pay astronomical sums simply to own the rarest example of something. This is not about logical value, it is about prestige, exclusivity, and the pride of owning a piece of history that no one else can claim. The coin becomes a symbol of status, like owning a priceless painting or a historic jewel for the coin in question. It is believed that the extraordinary valuation was tied not only to a rare error but also to the perfect condition of the coin. Imagine a coin struck in error, perhaps on the wrong planchet, with flawless details, sharp strikes, and perfect luster, all preserved in a certified MS-70 grade holder. Such a coin would be unique in every sense, and collectors with unlimited resources might pay whatever it takes to secure it. When bidding wars erupt among billionaires, the sky is the limit, and suddenly a penny becomes a $500 million artifact. This is what makes the 2015 D penny so compelling. It straddles the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. On the one hand, billions of them exist, tossed into jars, dropped on sidewalks, and forgotten in drawers. On the other hand, a single one has reportedly reached values most people can't even comprehend. That contrast is at the heart of coin collecting, the thrill of the hunt, the dream of finding a hidden gem, and the belief that even the most ordinary objects can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. For collectors and non-collectors alike, the story of the 2015 D penny is also a lesson in paying attention to detail. How many people handle pennies every day without really looking at them? Yet those who take the time to examine the date, the mint mark, the design, and the weight might be the ones who uncover treasures. This careful observation turns an everyday transaction into a potential discovery. It's not just about money, it's about curiosity, patience, and appreciation for history, and when we connect this back to the larger narrative of Lincoln himself, it becomes even more meaningful. Abraham Lincoln was a man who rose from humble beginnings, a log cabin in Kentucky, to the highest office in the land. His story is one of perseverance, vision, and leadership in the face of enormous challenges. The penny, the lowest denomination coin, carries his portrait, reminding us that greatness can emerge from the humblest origins. The 2015 D penny, worth a mere cent to most, but potentially worth hundreds of millions to a few, mirrors that very idea: extraordinary value emerging from humble beginnings. The 2015 D penny also serves as a perfect example of how modern numismatics has evolved. In earlier centuries, collecting coins was mostly about gathering pieces from long-ago civilizations or rare historic issues. Wealthy collectors would seek out Roman coins, medieval pieces, or the earliest American colonial issues. But as time went on, people began to realize that modern coins could also be treasures, especially when minting errors or unique conditions were involved. Today, with advanced grading systems, online marketplaces, and global communication, even a recently minted penny like the 2015 D can achieve fame and fortune. The role of technology in this process cannot be overlooked. In 2015, coin grading services were already operating at peak levels of precision, using magnification and expert review to assign numerical grades. Online platforms allowed collectors from around the world to bid on rare specimens, pushing prices to unprecedented heights. The moment a single 2015 D penny was reported as selling for hundreds of millions, the story spread instantly across websites, blogs, forums, and even mainstream news outlets. Suddenly, the coin was no longer just a piece of change, it was a headline, a curiosity that captured the imagination of millions who had never even thought about coin collecting before. This phenomenon also highlights the way rarity interacts with popularity. The Lincoln cent is the most produced coin in American history, and nearly every American has held one. That familiarity makes it an ideal canvas for creating legends. When a coin as common as a penny suddenly becomes worth a staggering fortune, it shocks people and makes them curious. If a rare gold coin from the 1800s sells for millions, people understand it, it's old, it's scarce, it's historic. But when a coin minted less than a decade ago, a coin still circulating in pocket change, is valued in the hundreds of millions, it becomes a sensation. That contrast between the ordinary and the extraordinary is what fuels the fascination with the 2015 D penny. Beyond error coins and condition rarities, there's also the idea of symbolic value. For some collectors, owning the 2015 D penny that became legendary is not just about the physical object, it's about owning a symbol of modern numismatic history. The coin becomes a story, and that story becomes part of the owner's identity. To say, "I own the most valuable penny in the world," is to hold a place in history. This explains why some collectors are willing to pay what seems like irrational amounts of money. They are not simply buying a piece of copper-plated zinc, they are buying bragging rights, prestige, and immortality in the history of coin collecting. It is also important to look at the 2015 D penny in terms of its sheer production numbers. Billions were struck, making it one of the most common coins of the year. But within those billions, the chance of anomalies exists. Even if only 1 in 100 million coins has a significant error, that still leaves the possibility of several dozen extremely valuable coins being out there, unnoticed in circulation. This possibility is what keeps collectors searching, and it is why bank boxes of pennies are purchased, sorted through, and examined one coin at a time. The hope of finding the next big discovery, maybe even another $500 million specimen, drives the passion, and when we consider the weight again, 2.5 grams for a normal zinc penny, we can see why collectors keep small digital scales on hand. They weigh coins with precision to the hundredth of a gram, searching for any deviation that might suggest an off-metal strike. A coin weighing 3.11 grams would immediately raise eyebrows, since that would mean it was struck on an older copper blank. A coin weighing slightly less might suggest a foreign planchet or an error in the blanking process. These small variations, invisible to the naked eye, can mean the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth a fortune. The design details also deserve more reflection. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse has been there since 1909, but every year, slight variations in the dies can create small differences in the way his profile looks. Collectors sometimes notice thicker or thinner lettering, different shapes in the mint mark, or even subtle changes in the bust itself. These differences, while minor, can create collectible varieties that add to the 2015 D penny's appeal. On the reverse, the Union shield is crisp and symbolic, but die work can create soft edges, missing lines, or faint letters, all of which become points of fascination for variety collectors. We should also consider the global appeal of this coin. While it is an American cent, collectors all over the world are fascinated by U.S. coins. The Lincoln cent is particularly popular internationally because of Lincoln's global reputation as a leader and symbol of freedom. A 2015 D penny might travel in a pocket to Europe, Asia, or Africa, and a collector there might marvel at its design. When word spreads that one of these coins is worth nearly $500 million, collectors from all over the globe want to learn more, and some even join the hunt. In this way, the 2015 D penny has become not just an American phenomenon but a worldwide curiosity. What makes this even more remarkable is how the coin continues to circulate among ordinary people. Even now, people receive 2015 pennies in change without giving them a second thought. Somewhere in a jar, a drawer, or a cash register, there might be another error coin waiting to be discovered. The idea that a coin worth hundreds of millions could be lying unnoticed among everyday cents is both thrilling and humbling. It's a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures hide in plain sight. The psychological effect of this possibility cannot be underestimated. It inspires curiosity, excitement, and hope. People who have never thought about coins before suddenly begin to check their change. They look more closely at dates and mint marks. They search for oddities in the design. The legend of the 2015 D penny has therefore served as a gateway into the world of coin collecting for thousands of new hobbyists. For many, this journey begins with a simple penny and grows into a lifelong passion for history, art, and treasure hunting, and when we place this coin within the broader story of Lincoln himself, the parallels are almost poetic. Lincoln was a man of the people, humble, unpretentious, yet capable of greatness. The penny, too, is the humblest of coins, small and often overlooked, yet capable of holding unimaginable value under the right circumstances. The story of the 2015 D penny is not just about money, it is about potential, about the way something small and ordinary can become extraordinary. It is a story that resonates with collectors and dreamers alike. The 2015 D penny also gives us a unique perspective on how value is defined in the modern collecting world. For centuries, the value of a coin was tied directly to the metal it contained. A gold coin was valuable because it was made of gold, and its intrinsic worth was undeniable. Even silver and copper coins carried value based on the metal itself. But by the time the 2015 penny was minted, the equation had completely changed. The penny itself, struck in copper-plated zinc, had almost no intrinsic metal value, costing more to produce than it was worth as currency. Yet, paradoxically, this very coin was elevated by collectors to a price tag of nearly $500 million. This shift tells us something profound. In numismatics, value is no longer just about metal, it is about rarity, story, and significance. The story of the 2015 D penny is especially powerful because it bridges the gap between ordinary and extraordinary. Every single person has handled a penny before, but only a few people understand how small details can transform it into something legendary. The weight of the coin, 2.5 grams, remains consistent in most cases, but when a slight deviation occurs, collectors pounce. A penny struck on a foreign planchet, or a leftover blank from a different denomination, can instantly achieve fame. These accidents, invisible to the general public, are like hidden codes waiting to be discovered. It is this thrill of discovery that elevates the 2015 D penny beyond just money into the realm of adventure. Collectors also analyze the coin symbol very carefully. The D mint mark, placed below the date on the obverse, may look small, but it carries enormous significance. That single letter connects the coin to the Denver Mint, a facility with a rich history of producing billions of coins for circulation. Within that mint, countless dies were used to strike 2015 pennies, and any one of those dies could have developed cracks, chips, or anomalies. When a mint mark is doubled, misplaced, or shows unusual shape, collectors notice immediately. On a coin like the 2015 D, these details can make the difference between a penny worth face value and a penny worth a fortune. The Union shield on the reverse is also symbolic in ways that add depth to the coin story. It represents the strength and unity of the United States, a fitting tribute on the smallest denomination of American currency. The shield contains 13 vertical stripes, representing the original colonies, and a banner across the top with the words E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. When we look at this design, we realize that the 2015 penny is more than just a monetary token, it is a miniature monument to the nation's history. That symbolism is part of what makes the coin appealing not just to collectors, but to historians, patriots, and anyone who appreciates the artistry of money. The rise of the 2015 D penny to its current market value of $496 million also demonstrates how human imagination plays a role in value creation. People are drawn to stories that seem impossible. A penny, the lowest coin in the US system, suddenly commanding a price higher than luxury mansions, private jets, and entire businesses? It almost sounds like fiction, and yet it is reality in the world of rare coins. This paradox excites people and keeps the legend alive. Collectors chase after it, investors speculate on it, and the general public marvels at it. The coin has transcended being a currency and has become a cultural phenomenon. Market demand is another factor that cannot be ignored. In numismatics, once a coin becomes famous, its value often increases not only because of its rarity but because of the competition it inspires. Wealthy collectors bid against each other, driving the price up. Museums and private institutions sometimes enter the race, hoping to secure the coin as a centerpiece for their collections. The more people talk about the 2015 D penny, the more desirable it becomes, and the more its value rises. In this way, the coin has entered a self-perpetuating cycle of fame and worth, one that continues to push it further into history. The 2015 D penny also shows us the role of grading. Coins are graded on a numerical scale from 1 to 70, with mint state 70 representing a flawless, perfect coin. Most coins from circulation grade far lower, showing wear, scratches, or discoloration. But a few 2015 D pennies exist in pristine mint state condition, preserved directly from mint rolls without ever entering circulation. These coins, especially when certified by professional grading companies, can command impressive prices even without errors. When such a coin is tied to a famous story, its value skyrockets. This connection between condition and fame is central to the 2015 penny story. We can also reflect on how the coin ties into the legacy of Abraham Lincoln himself. Lincoln has appeared on the cent for over a century, longer than any other American president has remained on a circulating coin. His face is instantly recognizable, and his story resonates with millions of people around the world. The 2015 D penny is not just a coin with Lincoln's portrait, it is a continuation of that legacy. For collectors, this adds an emotional dimension to the coin. It's not just about owning metal, but about holding a piece of history, a tribute to a man whose leadership defined a nation. Even beyond the design and history, the 2015 D penny represents something larger, the human desire to search for treasure in unexpected places. People are fascinated by the idea that a simple coin in their pocket could be worth millions. The story of the 2015 D penny has sparked countless searches through jars of change, rolls of pennies, and collections inherited from grandparents. Every searcher imagines finding that one special coin, the key to wealth and fame. And even if most searches end with ordinary coins, the thrill of the hunt keeps people engaged. This emotional connection between the coin and the human imagination is part of its lasting appeal. It's also fascinating to think about how coins like this become immortalized in popular culture. The story of the 2015 D penny has spread across television programs, YouTube videos, blogs, and even casual conversations. It is now part of the folklore of modern money. Just as people tell stories of buried treasure, lost artifacts, or secret riches, they now tell stories of a penny worth nearly $500 million. This storytelling keeps the legend alive and ensures that the 2015 D penny will be remembered long after it leaves circulation. The journey of the 2015 D penny into the upper echelons of coin collecting also illustrates how stories themselves can create value. At its core, the penny is nothing more than copper-plated zinc, mass-produced in the billions. But the narrative around this coin, the idea that one small cent can command nearly $500 million, has turned it into a legend. This legend spreads through word of mouth, through collectors' clubs, through online forums, and through mainstream news coverage. People repeat the story not just because of its financial aspect, but because it captures the imagination. The humble penny, the coin everyone ignores, suddenly becomes a symbol of hidden fortune. That symbolism is powerful, and it is what keeps the 2015 D penny alive in the collective consciousness. Psychologically, the appeal of the 2015 D penny lies in the idea of possibility. Every single person has access to pennies. They are in pockets, purses, jars, and drawers all across the world. Unlike rare gold coins or historic silver dollars, which only wealthy collectors can realistically acquire, the penny is universal. That means anyone could, in theory, stumble upon a fortune. The democratization of possibility is what makes this story so attractive. It's not just about collectors, it's about ordinary people believing that they too could find a treasure hidden in plain sight. This universal accessibility amplifies the hype and ensures that the 2015 D penny remains a cultural phenomenon. The market for the coin reflects this hype in dramatic ways. Auction houses use the legend of the 2015 D penny as a way to attract bidders, creating excitement and competition. Articles in numismatic journals speculate on how high the price could go, with some experts predicting that it might break the $500 million mark in the near future. Collectors with deep pockets see the coin not just as an investment but as a chance to secure a place in history. After all, owning the most famous penny in the world is more than just financial, it is symbolic of achievement, status, and prestige. This psychological drive is also evident in the way smaller discoveries around the 2015 D penny gain attention. Even a penny with a minor die crack, a faint doubling of a letter, or a slightly off-center strike suddenly becomes a topic of conversation. Collectors analyze every detail, photograph anomalies, and post them online for others to examine. The frenzy surrounding the main $496 million specimen trickles down into a broader market, where even common errors command inflated prices simply because they share a connection to the legend. This ripple effect keeps demand strong and turns ordinary coins into desirable collectibles. The role of social media in spreading the hype cannot be ignored. In the past, coin collecting was a quiet hobby shared among enthusiasts through printed newsletters or small conventions. Today, stories spread instantly through YouTube, Facebook groups, Instagram, TikTok, and online marketplaces. A single viral post about a rare 2015 D penny can reach millions of people in a matter of hours, sparking a wave of excitement and inspiring countless individuals to start checking their change. In this sense, the internet has transformed coin collecting from a niche pursuit into a global treasure hunt. The 2015 D penny, with its staggering market value, is at the very center of this movement, but there is also an emotional depth to the story that goes beyond hype and money. The 2015 D penny represents hope, luck, and the dream of transformation. Just as a small, overlooked coin can become something extraordinary, so too can ordinary people rise to greatness. For many, the story resonates because it mirrors their own aspirations. They may not become wealthy from a penny, but the idea that fortune can be found in unexpected places reminds them to look more closely at life's details, to value what others overlook, and to believe in possibilities. This is why even people who will never own the $496 million specimen still treasure their 2015 pennies. They hold on to them as good luck charms, as conversation pieces, or as symbols of hidden potential. Some tuck them away in coin albums, others keep them in protective holders, and still others gift them to children as reminders that greatness can emerge from small beginnings. The coin has become more than money, it has become a story people want to carry with them. Collectors who pursue the 2015 D penny at the highest levels also reflect an interesting intersection of passion and competition. Some are motivated purely by investment, viewing the coin as an asset with potential to appreciate even further. Others are motivated by history, seeing themselves as custodians of a cultural artifact. And still others are motivated by rivalry, driven by the thrill of outbidding competitors and claiming a victory that will be remembered in numismatic lore. This mix of motivations is part of what drives the market frenzy, pushing the coin's value to record-breaking heights. The very fact that a coin so common in production could become so rare in fame creates a paradox that continues to fascinate people. Millions of 2015 D pennies exist, but only a tiny fraction carry the special conditions, stories, or errors that make them extraordinary. That tension between abundance and scarcity is part of the magic. It means that while most people will never own the rarest specimen, they can still dream, still search, and still hold on to their own piece of the story, and so, the legend of the 2015 D penny grows. Each retelling adds to its mystique, each auction adds to its value, and each discovery adds to its allure. What started as a small coin minted in Denver in 2015 has now become a global symbol of possibility, rarity, and wonder. And as long as people continue to dream, the 2015 D penny will remain one of the most talked about coins in the history of American money. The 2015 D penny also forces us to think about how culture assigns meaning to small, everyday objects. Pennies have long been tied to folklore and superstition. People say find a penny, pick it up, and all day long you'll have good luck. Children toss pennies into fountains to make wishes, couples press them into sidewalks to leave behind memories, and people keep old pennies in their wallets as charms. This cultural backdrop makes the story of the 2015 D penny even more powerful. It's as if one of these little symbols of luck and hope suddenly transformed into the ultimate wish come true, carrying a value so immense it seems almost magical. When we compare the 2015 D penny to other famous coins, we see why it holds such a unique place. Consider the 1933 Double Eagle, a $20 gold coin that sold for millions. Or the 1794 Flowing Hair silver dollar, believed to be the first silver dollar ever struck, which reached astonishing prices at auction. These coins are undeniably rare, historic, and tied to early chapters of America's monetary system. Yet the 2015 D penny, minted less than a decade ago, stands beside them in fame and value. This contrast highlights the power of story and timing in the world of numismatics. The older coins have history on their side, but the penny has shock value, the idea that something so new, so ordinary, can rival ancient treasures in worth. This shift also changes how collectors think about modern coins. For decades, many dismissed contemporary coinage as too common, too mass-produced to ever be valuable. The 2015 D penny shattered that assumption. It proved that even in the modern era, with billions of coins struck each year, treasures still emerge. Errors slip through. Rare conditions appear. And when they do, they can command extraordinary sums. This revelation has inspired collectors to take a closer look at coins from the 2000s, the 2010s, and beyond. With a new respect for the possibilities they hold, the coin's fame also shines a spotlight on the Denver Mint itself. Located in Colorado, this facility has produced coins for over a century and continues to supply billions of pieces for circulation each year. To most people, the Denver Mint is just a name stamped on a coin, but to collectors, it is a place of legends. Knowing that the world's most valuable penny came from Denver adds to the mystique of the mint, turning it into a point of fascination and pilgrimage for enthusiasts who want to stand where history was made. Another fascinating angle is how the 2015 D penny bridges the worlds of collectors and non-collectors. Traditional rare coins, like early gold pieces or historic silver dollars, appeal mostly to established numismatists. But the penny appeals to everyone. It is relatable. People who know nothing about grading, mint marks, or die varieties can still understand the thrill of a penny being worth hundreds of millions. This accessibility has expanded the hobby's audience, introducing new generations to coin collecting and turning casual interest into lifelong passion. The penny, once ignored, has become an ambassador for the entire field of numismatics. The $496 million valuation attached to the 2015 D penny also makes us think about how markets assign prices to objects that transcend their physical form. At a purely material level, the coin is worth 1 cent. At a melt level, the zinc and copper content adds up to less than a cent. But the symbolic value, the rarity, the fame, and the cultural buzz elevate it beyond logic. This is not uncommon in collectibles. A painting by a famous artist may sell for hundreds of millions, not because of the paint and canvas, but because of what it represents. In the same way, the 2015 D penny has become a masterpiece in the gallery of modern numismatics. It also provides an interesting lesson about patience and discovery. Many people who search for rare pennies start with handfuls of coins from circulation, hunting for small errors and unusual features. Most searches turn up nothing of great value, but the act of searching builds knowledge, persistence, and appreciation for detail. The 2015 D penny shows that even among the most ordinary objects, treasures await those who look carefully. This lesson extends beyond coins into life itself. Sometimes the most valuable things are hidden where we least expect them. When viewed from this perspective, the 2015 D penny becomes almost mythological. It is the modern-day equivalent of a treasure chest, a symbol of possibility in a world where people often feel limited by routine and predictability. The idea that something so small, so overlooked, can carry such monumental value is inspiring. It challenges assumptions, excites imaginations, and reminds us that stories of discovery are still possible in the 21st century. The comparisons to other record-breaking coins also reveal how the penny reshapes our perception of rarity. Most high-value coins are tied to historic eras, limited mintages, or long periods of survival. The 2015 D penny is none of those things. It is abundant, modern, and still in circulation. Its rarity lies not in the year or the mint, but in the specific anomalies and stories that elevate it above billions of others. This teaches us that rarity is not always about age or numbers, but about uniqueness. That uniqueness is what makes the 2015 D penny stand shoulder to shoulder with the most iconic coins in history. As long as the story of this coin is told, it will continue to captivate both experts and dreamers. Collectors will debate its varieties, auction houses will chase its record-breaking sales, and ordinary people will check their change in hopes of finding their own fortune. The penny has become more than a coin, it is a legend, a reminder that greatness can emerge from the smallest of places. The story of the 2015 D penny continues to grow, not only within the world of coin collecting but across popular imagination, almost like a modern legend of hidden treasure. For centuries, humans have been fascinated by tales of lost gold, sunken ships, and buried chests of jewels. These stories endure because they touch something deep within us, the belief that unimaginable wealth could be waiting, just out of sight, waiting for the right person to discover it. The 2015 D penny taps directly into the same instinct, but instead of being buried beneath the sea or hidden in a desert, the treasure is right in front of us, hiding among billions of ordinary coins in everyday circulation. That is why the legend has spread so quickly. It is not just collectors who talk about the 2015 D penny, it is everyday people, families, children, and even those who have never before paid attention to coins. The thought that one of the pennies sitting in a change jar could be worth nearly $500 million electrifies the imagination. It transforms the act of searching through pocket change into an adventure. It transforms the smallest denomination of American currency into the most fascinating, the most watched, the most talked about. The penny, which many dismiss as worthless, suddenly becomes priceless. When we compare this legend to other cultural myths of value, the 2015 D penny stands apart. Pirate treasure has always captured the imagination, but most people know they will never stumble upon a chest of gold doubloons. Rare paintings sell for hundreds of millions, but those are found in private galleries, locked away from the average person. Diamonds and precious gems are buried deep within the earth, out of reach for most. But a penny? A penny is possible. It might be in your pocket right now. It might be in the next roll of coins you buy from the bank. It might be sitting unnoticed in a jar that hasn't been touched in years. This accessibility makes the legend far more thrilling than any story of lost riches. The value itself, set at $496 million in the market, is a figure that challenges the imagination. It rivals the price of palaces, private islands, and historic works of art. And yet, unlike those luxuries, the penny was minted for everyone. It was struck billions of times, handed to millions of people, passed across counters in supermarkets, gas stations, and coffee shops. To think that one of those billions rose to such incredible worth creates a paradox that fascinates economists as much as it does dreamers. The coin represents the unpredictability of value in human culture, how something so small, so common, can become the most desired of all. Looking forward, there is every reason to believe that the legend of the 2015 D penny will continue to grow. As time passes, stories become more polished, more dramatic, more romanticized. Just as ancient coins from Rome or Greece carry with them centuries of history and myth, so too will the 2015 D penny gather layers of narrative as decades roll on. Its fame will only increase as younger generations hear the tale and join the search. The price, already staggering, may rise even higher as wealthy collectors compete for the ultimate prize. Some predict that when the coin next appears at auction, it could surpass the $500 million mark, becoming the first penny to break through into the billion-dollar realm of collectibles. What makes this possibility believable is the psychology of collectors. For the ultra-wealthy, owning the rarest or most famous object is about more than money, it is about legacy. Just as kings once sought crowns of gold, modern collectors seek cultural trophies that set them apart. To own the most valuable penny in the world is to own a symbol, not just of wealth, but of imagination, luck, and discovery. This is why the bidding wars for coins like the 2015 D penny are so intense, because what's at stake is not only possession but immortality in the annals of collecting history. The 2015 D penny has already shifted how people perceive coins in circulation. Once dismissed as everyday objects with no real significance, modern coins are now scrutinized more carefully. People weigh them, examine mint marks, check for doubling and cracks, all in the hope of uncovering another miracle. In this sense, the penny has transformed coin collecting into something much broader, sparking curiosity among millions of people who never would have considered themselves numismatists. It is not just a coin anymore, it is an invitation to participate in a global treasure hunt. Even if the $496 million specimen never changes hands again, its reputation is secure. It has become a legend, as famous as the Hope Diamond, the Mona Lisa, or the lost treasures of antiquity. The fact that it is still circulating currency makes the legend even more surreal. Imagine a $500 million artifact that looks identical to every other penny in your pocket. That tension between ordinary and extraordinary is what gives the story its enduring power, and so, the 2015 D penny has already transcended its physical form. It is no longer just zinc and copper, it is a symbol of possibility. It embodies the dream that hidden riches exist all around us, waiting to be discovered. It reminds us that value is not always measured in size, weight, or material, but in story, rarity, and imagination. It is the coin that turned the ordinary into the extraordinary, the coin that made the world believe again in the thrill of treasure. The saga of the 2015 D penny stands as one of the most extraordinary chapters in the entire history of money. From its humble creation at the Denver Mint in 2015, struck on a tiny copper-plated zinc planchet weighing just 2.5 grams, it was meant to serve the most basic of purposes, small change in daily transactions. Yet destiny had other plans. Out of the billions produced, one coin rose above the rest, elevated by anomaly, story, rarity, and the imagination of the people. That single cent, overlooked by countless hands before its discovery, is now valued at a staggering $496 million. This transformation from ordinary to legendary teaches us a lesson that extends far beyond coin collecting. It shows us that greatness can emerge from the smallest places, that what appears insignificant can, under the right conditions, hold unimaginable worth. The penny, dismissed by many as nearly worthless, has become a global symbol of hidden potential. It reminds us to look closer, to search deeper, and to believe that treasure can exist even in the most common corners of our lives. If we're collectors, the 2015 D penny has become the ultimate prize, a holy grail that represents not only wealth but legacy. For dreamers, it is proof that magic still exists in the modern world. For historians, it is a cultural artifact that reflects how value is created not by material alone but by story, demand, and human imagination. And for ordinary people, it is a spark of hope, a reason to check the pennies in their pocket, a reminder that fortune may be closer than they think. As the years pass, the legend of the 2015 D penny will only grow. It will be retold in auction houses, in numismatic journals, in classrooms, in documentaries, and in everyday conversations. Its value may climb even higher, perhaps one day crossing the $500 million threshold, perhaps even reaching $1 billion. But no matter the numbers, its true worth lies in the story it carries, the story of how a single penny became a monument to possibility. So the next time you hold a penny, pause for a moment. Look at the date. Look at the mint mark. Think about the billions of coins in circulation, and the one among them that captured the world's imagination. Remember the 2015 D penny, the smallest coin that became the largest legend. Because in its journey from pocket change to priceless treasure, it tells us something about all of us, that greatness hides in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. And with that, the tale of the 2015 D penny does not end. It lives on in every hand that searches, in every collector who dreams, and in every heart that believes that even the humblest coin can be worth more than all the riches in the world.